I'm Sandra Knight, and I approve this message.
Hello everyone, it's Dwayne Williams with WCOE. It's time for another candidate spotlight here on MixedTV.tv. Today we'll be talking with Sandra Norton-Knight, the current Bradley County Road Superintendent. Hello Sandra, how are you doing?
Good morning, I'm doing very well. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks so much for coming in and talking with us on this candidate spotlight. Of course, right now you are the current Bradley County Road Superintendent running for re-election. Tell a little bit about yourself and why you think you're best suited for this position, to maintain this position.
I was born and raised in Chattanooga, graduated from Red Bank. After high school, I was real interested in math due to one of my teachers there. Went to Chattanooga State and talked to an advisor there and told him I wanted to go into construction supervision, and he said, no, you want to be a civil engineer. Of course, I'm like everybody else, what's a civil engineer? He said, just trust me, you'll like it. So I said, okay, let's go for it. Finished a couple years there and then went to Knoxville for 3 years and graduated. Then started working toward my professional engineering license while I was working for the Florida Department of Transportation. Really enjoyed out on road and bridge construction out on the coast, watching the dolphins around the piers and things like that. Came back to Chattanooga, worked for a consultant in Chattanooga, and then the city of Chattanooga is their engineering design manager, and left there and came to work for Bradley County in 1996. Have always been familiar with Bradley County. My dad's been a resident in Bradley County pretty much his whole life. Unfortunately, we lost him this past December, but just his friends and all the knowledge and stuff, it's just been real like a homecoming, and everybody here has been very welcoming. And then working as the Bradley County engineer for 18 years, I've assisted 2 different road superintendents in their projects. So when I became the road superintendent, I already kind of pretty well knew what the job was and what all it entailed. And I just think I'm the most qualified, mainly education and experience.
You know, you mentioned something there that's going to really be my next question. What is the job of the Bradley County Road Superintendent? What is the focus of that position?
I guess the focus of the position is to, of course, take care of the citizens of Bradley County, make sure your roads are in good condition and safe. And that includes, everybody wants to see the black roads, put asphalt on there, but there's a lot more than that to it. Of course, there's the culverts and the bridges under the road. There's mowing, making sure you've got good sight distance, making sure all your signs are in good shape, making sure your ditches are clean and the water's flowing and not flooding anyone. We take care of the traffic signals. As part of my job, a lot of it is assisting the crews, designing different projects, sizing tiles and bridges, creating, looking for ways of funding grants, different things like that, being involved in the legislation that's going to ultimately reflect on the road department and possibly have a financial impact on it.
What do you see that would be, if re-elected, what you think would be some of the things that you would tell the voters, this is kind of my future plans, this is what I think is the next step for us moving forward after all the elections is over?
I think a lot of the things we've been working on, of course, is digitizing all the records. There wasn't a record retention policy when I got there, so it was hard to determine what the lifespan of different materials and projects and things were, what worked, what didn't work. So we definitely want to continue on that and make this information available on the cloud so it's available in the field real time for what we're doing. Another thing we're looking at, is trying to work with the city and the state. Of course, all the traffic congestion, different problems, looking at ways to move traffic differently than what they do now. Most of our roads are north and south. We don't have a lot of east-west connectors, so one of the things I've been looking at is working with property owners and looking at the possibility of building some east-west connectors. Maybe extend Hooper Gap over to North Lee Highway so that you don't have to come all the way down to Paul Huff. There'd be a different way that people could get where they're going.
Again, we're having a candidate spotlight today. Sandra Norton-Knight, your current Bradley County Road Superintendent, asking for your vote for re-election due to the Republican primary on May the 3rd. If re-elected, you mentioned some of the things that you think is kind of on the forefront, what should be done. Long term, if you're looking just a few more years down the road, what is some of the biggest concerns that you see for our road system and traffic around Cleveland and Bradley County?
One of the big concerns, of course, is the congestion as things build. We're already having to redo a lot of our intersections, change the timing on our signals, use split phases and protected turns just because of the increased traffic, you know, people trying to turn right, people trying to turn left. Just trying to get the public where they need to go in a timely manner with the funds we have.
If you could say that there's one thing that under your current administration that you're most proud of, what would you say that would be?
Probably the team we have. The team we have is very talented. Everybody's very dedicated to their job. There's a lot of crafts, a lot that they can do, and just the amount of work we've gotten done. They take pride in their work and just our accomplishments.
You know, one of the things that we know that you're currently the road superintendent. What is the main thing that's encouraging you to want to run again? What's making you want to say, I want to continue on with what I've got? What gives you that drive?
I guess mainly I've always just been very career oriented. I had a drive even through college. You know, this is what I'm doing, and never changed majors or anything. I've always wanted to be in construction, road construction, bridge construction, and then also serving people. Civil engineering, that's one of the things that's in their motto, is it's a people-serving profession. It's helping people, being there for people that have questions and need help. If they're building a house and they want to see how the water flows, protecting the public, things like that. So just a matter of continuing my drive to help people.
One of the things that I'm sure a lot of people, you know, we mentioned what your job entails and your staff and your crew that's over that, but there's probably a lot of things people assume falls underneath your umbrella that probably doesn't. Could you mention maybe something that people are always thinking coming to you that's really not part of the road department, that people would maybe say, well, I wish they would have done this, and I think the road department was responsible for it, but you really wasn't?
Right, we get a lot of that. Recently I got some pictures where the grass needs to be cut back or repairs made, and a lot of it's on state roads or city roads. And our jurisdiction is just the county roads, and we can only work inside our right-of-way, which is the property we own with the road, which is usually 50 feet or less.
You know, I bring that question up because I'm sure a lot of times people, they may not understand the dynamics of what your boundaries are, so they need to understand that if there's something that they're not getting done, it's probably not Bradley County. It could be actually the state of Tennessee.
True.
So that's why I brought that question up. As you move forward through this campaign, what are some of the concerns that the community is asking you about?
A lot of the concerns are like the extra runoff, where some of these subdivisions that were never totally built out, only a few lots were developed. Now they're all getting developed, and you're getting an increased runoff, water, you know, damaging people's property, and that's one of the biggest concerns we have.
When you say Bradley County roads, could you kind of give us a map of, just a visual map of what that encompasses as far as when we say Bradley County roads?
Bradley County roads are anything inside the county except what's inside the city, and the state roads such as Georgetown, Harrison Pike, South Lee Highway, Lauderdale Memorial. All those would be considered state roads. Any of the smaller side roads we would take care of.
And as you go through, I would say, I guess the word would be pecking order when you do those things. If people have had problems in the past, how have they gotten those resolved? How do they reach out to you guys if there's a problem on one of those secondary roads?
They can call the office, or they can email us on our webpage, send us a note or whatever. Facebook, we have a Facebook page. They can definitely put comments on there. We respond to those. Stop any of our crews out in the field and give it to them. They'll be happy to assist you.
About how big is the crew of people that you manage there with the road department?
We've got 62 positions. We've got 3 grade all crews, a paving crew, a brush crew. We've got 9 mowers that run pretty much full time. And then our office staff, and our office staff kind of doubles. The girl that does our payroll actually runs the paver with the paving crew a lot. And the one that does like our road list and some other projects, she works in the sign shop and helps them with reflectivity and developing signs. And then the one that pays our bills, she works in the parts room and helps with the inventory and things like that.
Again, we're doing another candidate spotlight today. Sandra Norton Knight, the current Bradley County Road Superintendent, giving us some information about herself and why she is running for re-election. And we talked about a lot of those different things during this conversation. If you could say one thing to the people watching this video today that is kind of a heartfelt message to them, what would that be in you asking for their votes during this election?
Probably just, I would ask for your vote. I would ask for your support. This is a love of mine to be able to serve the public, to help with the safety of the public.
And if there's contact information for you, where would they find that information at?
notforbradleyroads.com.
And that's the main place that they'd go find information about
There's
you.
a web page, but there's also Vote Sandra Knight on Facebook that has a lot of information.
I guess I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, kind of in your mindset, then also what you think the community's mindset would be. Grading your service, how do you feel you've done during your tenure of time?
Ooh, I'd say at least an 8, and the reason I would say an 8 because we have a lot of projects that are funding restrained. We have a lot of projects we'd like to do, but the funding isn't there, and we're just having to save up for that. So I would say an 8 or a 9.
So you feel there is room for improvement?
Yes, always room for improvement.
Okay, and if you were thinking about the community in general, as you've been out talking to people, getting questions, you mentioned comments on Facebook and things like that, how do you feel the community has projected the job that you've done?
The community has been very, very supportive. We get a lot of calls, a lot of emails, a lot of things on Facebook. We're complimenting the crews and things that have been done. We print those out and put them on a bulletin board monthly, and usually cover the whole bulletin board and have to take them down and start again. So the public's been very supportive.
As Bradley County and this area continues to grow, it's something that there has to be some challenges that you mentioned, saving up and doing those type things. The challenges that you guys are facing, is it equipment? Is it just technology? What would be the biggest need for the road department if you could just kind of have that wish list?
Probably materials. The cost of materials has doubled, tripled, outlandish. For instance, like in 2000, asphalt was $20 a ton. Now it's like $85 a ton. So just the cost of materials is our biggest restraint.
So, and of course, that's something that you don't control. So that's one of those things that's very hard to dictate how it's going to go. Again, folks, we're doing another candidate spotlight here today. Sandra Norton Knight talking to you about the Bradley County Road Superintendent, and she would love for you to be able to vote for her on that primary date on May the 3rd. Of course, early voting is going on now. Sandra, thanks so much for coming in and talking with us today.
Thank you. And I would just ask the voters to support our families there at Bradley County.
Here at Mix 104.1 and Mix TV, we are maximizing our coverage this election season with one-on-one interviews, scheduled discussions, candidate spotlights, web polls, and so much more. We believe it is important that you stay informed to make decisions that matter to you and your family. Don't miss a minute. Visit mymix1041.com. Our election coverage is presented by the Logan Thompson Law Firm.